Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Burwell, your host of VIE Speaks, Conversations with Heart and Soul. Super excited today in season 5 to bring a great guy, Roy Sembera, who is the developer and owner of Churchill Oaks on the Bay, a gorgeous community. We had the pleasure of aligning with Roy about a year and a half ago, and hands down, he is one of my favorite people on the planet. So we are going to have a really good conversation. Roy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. It's exciting to be here. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Glad to have you. For the listeners and viewers out there, Churchill Oaks sits on how many acres?
Currently in phase 1, there's 42 acres.
Okay. And then phase 2 is
Phase 2 will be another 15 acres, and then phase 3 will be another 15 acres.
okay. So it's a beautiful piece of property, a special enclave with oak trees, and it's a private gated community. There is and waterfront with a marina. It is very special, and it is a unique property, and there's not a lot of them. So Churchill Oaks is a coveted place to live. I say that pretty much almost everybody in our town, in our community, that is of an A-game quality, like restaurant owners or interior designers or George Brannon, this company Setco. Like there's so many people that live and work in our town here that are at the top of their game. When people want to flock to a place to live who are doing well and are thriving, that is a testament to the community as well as so many other things. Tell us a little bit about your background prior to you becoming a developer of this cherished place.
Well, I'm from South Louisiana. I married a girl that I met in high school, so we've been married. This will be our 46th year together this year, next month.
Congratulations.
And we have 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and hopefully more grandchildren are coming. That's really the big joy in my life these days. So we're from South Louisiana, below New Orleans, and this landscape here at Churchill Oaks reminds me a lot of where I grew up. So when we saw it, we fell in love with it. And
let me ask you this: what made you even start looking for the land? I mean, you saw, so you were actively looking for a tract of land.
yes, I retired kind of early from my real job. I was 40 years old. I was a petroleum engineer, started my own company, and we did pretty well. Sold all of our assets, and me and Wendy came to Destin, and we bought a condo on the water. And I told her I can't just sit around and do nothing. So I purchased the land in Santa Rosa Beach. And once I purchased it, I said I need to do something now. So I tried my hand at developing.
Wow. So that was Act 2, right, in your career?
Well, that was probably Act 6 or 7.
Okay. All right. So super successful in your career that you were able to retire at 40. And then you had a vision when you saw the land, and it reminded you of where you grew up. Is the Churchill Oaks that we see now something that you had envisioned in your mind's eye back then?
Pretty much spot on. It's
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
it's the fact that I live there, I think speaks pretty loudly. And I wanted to develop a place where my grandchildren could come and visit, and we could all, once we enter the gates, we don't have to leave. We do a lot of boating, so we can go to restaurants by boat. We can spend all day on the boat, but we like to spend most of our days in Churchill Oaks. And got a lot of walking trails, some freshwater lakes, bass, and then in the bay we can catch fish. And it's like I'll tell you, the other day we saw a manatee that beautiful manatee going swimming right by the docks, and
Wow.
seeing eagles and
Have
bear and panthers, and so there's lots of wildlife in the area, and we just like being a part of it.
mm, mm. So I hadn't known this the answer to this question until right before we started filming, which was how did you master plan that community? And you told me the story, and it was very fast. But if you could tell our listeners, how did you pick the land planner that you ended up working with and
Well, I
local?
picked the planner. They were working in Panama City, and they were based out of Naples, Florida, and they did a lot of help in getting the development order. And once we got the development, well, prior to getting the development order, we called in their planning group, and they came into they flew into Destin, and funny, they had a group of 4 guys, and we sat down, and I told them kind of what I wanted and how we wanted to do it, and the number of lots, and so we sat down and we started working, and right away they kind of were getting ready. We reached lunchtime pretty quick, and I had lunch brought in, and then it's probably about 6 o'clock. The guys stand up and they start stretching and said, "Well, have you picked a place for dinner?" And I said, "Sure, it's coming."
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so we had dinner there, and we finished the main concept about 2 o'clock that morning.
That's
And
impressive.
yeah,
Wow, that is so impressive.
so
And it's beautiful. So you knew what you wanted. You were the visionary, and you truly were leading the initiative.
we did. We tried to save a lot of the trees, so we planned around the trees when you cut the entrance, and then some of the side roads. When you come to the main road, there's a sight line where you can see the bay, or some green space. No, you don't just dead end into a house side or something like that. So it was playing out pretty good, and
Yeah.
I'm pleased. And the lots they're not cookie cutter, so they're all different dimensions and sizes and shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Savoy, you mentioned him, he had a lot to do with that. And he said, "No, that'll be really fun and make creating a house site
Mm-hmm.
or a home really fun."
Wow. So it was around, you finished that maybe a year or two before 2008 when the stock market crashed?
Yes, we
Okay.
got our development order right in the beginning of 2008, I believe.
And so being your first entree into like a major development, what was it that made you not skittish and not like put it down, put shovels down or the idea down? What made you keep going?
It's kind of like, in math, the sine curve, I call it the sine of life. And, business kind of follows that. So there's ups and downs. And we were in a down. So I took the opportunity then to put the infrastructure in. So we built our clubhouse and put all the roads in, and built our boardwalk and did all that thing while we could pick and choose who we wanted to use, because everybody was looking for work.
Wow.
And it didn't cost as much as it normally would have. So I took the opportunity to do that. Of course, I didn't know it was going to stay in that low for so long, but it did.
And how long was that?
That was quite a while. We didn't get our development. We got our development order. We didn't get our our CO, certificate of occupation, until 2011,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe 12, right at
Okay.
12, and then so it's been a while that we've had that, but then we sat back and waited, and then we started finally building houses, and it was a slow go, but
Mm-hmm.
in about 3 years before COVID is when we decided we'll go ahead and put the marina in, and start building some homes, and we did, and it took off from there.
It's a lot of homes in that short period of time.
It is. We have approximately 78 home sites, and only about 15 lots left to build on.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And COVID, though, ended up being a boon for you, not a bust.
Yeah, it was. We sat back for so long and waited,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a vision, and I wasn't gonna let somebody else come in and dictate how that vision ended up, so I stuck to my guns, and, we just kinda waited for the opportunity, and like I said, we did the marina, and,
Mhm.
we hired us a really good, real estate company at the time,
Mhm.
and still they still are, but,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then started building the homes, and it took off,
Mhm.
and when it took off, it was going so well for us that, it's kind of exciting,
Mhm.
and then COVID hit, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my goodness,"
Mhm.
just when we get going.
Mhm.
Little did I know it was like what
Good.
we had going now on steroids, so,
Right, right.
yeah, we got to meet a lot of good people from we have some people from, Michigan and California and, Illinois,
Mm.
Massachusetts,
Mhm.
um, so
A good
we've got a
good
good.
cross section of
Mhm. Yeah.
Americana coming down here looking for refuge in Churchill Oaks, right? Which
Yeah.
is so, so beautiful. We'll disperse some photography and video in this podcast too, so that the viewers can see exactly how beautiful this place is that you've created. I'm so impressed that with anything someone's doing that's a visionary who has a passion to do it, who does not quit. What is it? Like, do you ever ask yourself, like, what was it that you were like, I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to see my vision through. Did you ever like talk to yourself about that?
Yeah, yeah, there were ti
Yeah, I know.
there were times, because in the oil and gas business, we were very successful and, sold that company, and after that, the first thing I did was started a bank,
Hmm.
with a group of guys, a state bank in Louisiana, and, we sold it and did well, and then, started a barge company and sold that and did well, and a coin company and sold that, and then a nitrogen company, and then another nitrogen
Oh,
company,
you
and
just did all of that? Okay. I wasn't aware you did that many.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we were building companies and selling them, and,
Wow.
but then we got to this, and all of a sudden things slowed down. It's like,
Mm.
wow, this is not something that I can control because
Mhm.
it seems like the economy
Mhm.
controls what happens here.
Mhm.
So I decided to dig my heels in and wait it out, and it it paid off. So we're doing well. It just took a little longer than
Yeah.
things normally take,
Yeah.
but we did. We got tired, and I say we. I'm talking about my wife Wendy.
Mhm.
We got tired at times, and we looked at one another and said, "What are we doing?
Mhm.
We can just go do something
You
different."
could go apparently open 10 more businesses and sell them, so that was a good fallback plan if you needed one.
Well, we kind of like doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
So, and we're going to see it through.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, so, there were times, like I said, we were just getting tired, so we
yeah,
said, "Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna get that marina done, we're gonna build some houses, we're gonna hire the best real estate company out there today, and, we're gonna give it that,
Yeah,
you know, that
the push.
that push."
Yeah, but it's so impressive too when a person's buying into a development, you really want to know who the developer is, and you want them to be tried and true because, like, I think most of us at one point in time, like, bought something that we thought was, great, and the developer, like, it was they didn't have the juice to keep going, or the integrity basically. So that happened to me once years ago. Madra, actually, who's your Madra McDonald, who's your publicist, actually had worked for the company back then, and we had a big event there because we had the account, which was gorgeous, like moss and the just like Savannah esque sort of property, stunning. Ben Affleck has a house there. The J Lo and he got married in like a couple months, but they were dating back then. Anyway, long story short, it was absolutely beautiful. We planned a party with the governor of the governor of Georgia that actually attended the party with Robert Mondavi and his wife, and hired a huge famous band to perform before 80 people.
You sure not talking about the Hamptons?
No,
It sounds pretty
no, I know
pretty elite.
it was, and the place and with horses and just everything. It was absolutely master planned to be so beautiful, and we bought a lot in there. So, but the developer, we just didn't know like what he had or didn't have. Anyway, lesson learned. In my background and just knowing, basically business and background, the fact of the matter is it's so important who is helming the community. And with the years that you have into it, that you've stayed the course and you have produced what you did, I would honestly say that that might be one of the biggest virtues that Churchill has also right now in continuing to sell because of you stood the test of time and you did what you said you were going to do and you didn't leave. And the integrity and the authenticity of that is like really part of the bones of Churchill Oaks. So when you're taking this into the finish line now and you've, stayed the course, that is, a huge feather in your cap and going to give comfort and, trust to the people that are going to continue to buy in there too, because you really did it. I mean, it's very impressive is what I'm circling here around here trying to say.
Well, I know where you're coming from, and I appreciate that. And I think a person's only as good as their word.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned George and Stephanie. They were some of the first people to move in there, and Susan and Sparky, and several of the early people that moved in and bought and sat down and listened to my vision and all these great things I told them I expected out of this place. When we got tired and we, it'd be so easy just to just move on. I couldn't do it because I had these guys in tow. So
impressive.
I was not going to go back on my word to anybody.
Yeah.
So
you were going to make it work.
Yeah, and we've made it work. And now when I ride around at night, and I say at night, at twilight, or we have these gas lanterns, a fixture to or kind of one of the things we do, and that ambiance of that gas lantern and these pathways, and to be there at night is really special. So I'll ride around and want to sit and I look at the rooftops or the roof lines, and I try to think if this is what I envisioned. Yeah, it is. It's we're not there yet, but it's what I envisioned, and it's to me it reminds me more of a European community, or and I'll sit there, and the longer I sit there, the worst I feel about the whole thing, because I try to give myself a grade, and like my engineering and my math background, and so I try to put things into equations when you do them, and of course every equation's got constants and variables, and the more variables the harder the equation. And so when I plug all these variables into what we were doing, I never thought about the people. Back when I was putting it together, the people never entered into my equation. But now that the people are there, that was the most important thing. And we have such a great group of people.
You do.
And you had mentioned earlier, and there are a lot of the movers and shakers. A lot of the movers and shakers in South Walton County live in Churchill Oaks, and we're proud of that as a community. And so, I never put them in the equation, so I was wrong. And as I say, I'm not a developer, but I guess
you are.
It's kind of like, once you're pregnant, you're pregnant,
Right.
right? So I'm a developer, and if I were ever do it again, I would think of the people. I'd plug them into that equation. But that's what makes us a community. Right. And I try to meet every person before they purchase a house in there and talk to them and ask them if there's any questions, or if there's any indecisiveness or anything you need to know. Just I'm not going to be pushy, but I'm here, so come talk to me. And so I do. I spend several hours with most of the people that buy in there prior to them buying.
And I'm sure that's a great comfort, and there's so much transparency in that and effort.
It is. The only I guess downfall is I would like to like lose a little weight maybe, but every time we every
Oh, 'cause
time
you're
we're here,
entertaining?
we're entertaining or we're going to dinner. Tonight will be the 3rd night in a row. We're
Oh,
going with
wow.
a different neighbor, but
Yeah,
they miss us and we miss them.
that's great.
And,
You just have to jog a couple of miles in the morning, right? And then
yeah,
again at night, maybe?
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, so
Wow.
it is, and it's just such a pleasure
Mhm.
that,
Mm,
we have
that's great.
that companionship
Mhm.
with the people in there.
Mhm. Yeah. And you can't make that up. You can't fabricate that. That's an organic situation that you have there because, what are the chances that like a lot of people that will live in a community actually want to like socialize with each other? A lot of communities, it's sort of like, they just go into their house and like really don't talk to their neighbors. And I know your community is very hospitable. They're all over each other's houses. There are dinner parties going on. Talk about some of the big events that you have at the clubhouse, which are very noteworthy. Emeralds and all the other ones.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess the most recent, and you mentioned Madra. Madra was there, and this past 5th of July.
Uh-huh.
It was Saturday night, and that's when we could get the most people from our community there. So we had a 4th of July party on the 5th,
Mhm.
and it was a great event. I mean, we had some good food and a lot of fireworks and some
Yeah.
adult beverages, and there was just such a great turnout.
Mhm.
And that's a really good time for everybody to kind of, just
Be together.
be
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
And so that was fun, and that was just this past weekend.
Yeah.
And so every spring we have Chichi Miguel, or we host Chichi Miguel, the Emerald Lagasse Foundation benefit, and a lot of it would raise a good bit of money, or
Mhm,
Emerald raises a good bit of money,
mhm,
the foundation, and it goes to local communities here.
mhm. Right.
So that's a great event. And then you've been so wonderful
Mhm.
to me and Wendy and Churchill Oaks, and sponsored a couple of really nice events
Yeah.
that we had. I mean, really nice
Mhm.
events, and we started doing some art showings. We did one at my house that I think
Was
turned out to be very nice. We paired it with a wine,
Mhm.
a vineyard, and
Yeah, and that was in your home, which is very intimate and, personable. And if I got this right, I think the artist who's from New Orleans sold more art that night than almost any other pop-up.
they did, and they had just their previous pop up was in San Antonio,
Mhm.
Texas,
Mhm.
and that's where all that
Oil.
shell, yeah, that
Well,
oil
oil.
money is. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, we're not gonna. But we sold about 150% more than they sold there. So it was a high dollar deal. So they were really happy, and we were happy. And
Mhm.
my good friend Russ Satoon from back in
Mhm.
Louisiana owns a 985 winery,
Uh-huh.
and he sold a bunch of wine there. So he was really
Happy.
happy. Yeah,
Mhm.
he got to feed his habit or
Yeah,
addiction.
right. It
And
was fun. It was such a fun party. It reminded me of a party that you would have gone to in New York City back in like the swanky 80s when Wolf of Wall Street was going on.
Andy
I mean,
Warhol or somebody, huh?
it was pretty great.
Yeah, everybody kind of got dressed up,
Yeah.
and there was some good music, and very good wine, and some good
Mhm.
art. So I
Right.
mean, what it was a
What's
it
not
was
to
a,
like,
yeah, it
right?
was a
And you are a
good
great
night.
host. You and Wendy are always such a good, effortless host. You just feel you look comfortable, you are comfortable, and then your guests are comfortable too.
Yeah,
But you're really great at that. In your math equation there, the S, is that okay?
the sine
The
curve,
sine
the
curve. Okay.
cosine and sine.
When you said you had left the variant of the people out, when did you learn like, oh, I got to put the people in? Like, when did that happen?
When they started moving in there,
Okay. Okay.
when everybody was in there, and it's nice when you can ride a bike around the neighborhood, and it takes you an hour to get a quarter of a mile because
Because
you
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 talk.
stop and talk. And so we took the first 30 feet of our bayfront, and we made that a common area. So I didn't want to have bayfront homes. I wanted to have bay view homes.
Mm.
So like my home, for example, is a bay view home. So we have an 8-foot boardwalk that meanders along the bay. And so, you know, a lot of questions will come up with people. Well, why did you do that? You know, because you took that privacy. So no, we didn't.
Mhm.
And a great example was this weekend where me and Wendy were sitting on our porch, and a couple from Boston
Mhm.
walked by. Well, they live here, but they're
Yeah.
you know originally from Boston. Walk by, and we see him, and we can jump up and holler, "Hey, Dan, Leslie," and they, hey, you know, so we can sit there and we can have a conversation, me and Wendy,
Mhm.
and it's private. But if we see somebody walking,
You can
and
say
we
it.
normally do,
Right.
and and so we end up talking to for 5 or 10 minutes, and then they go on with their walk.
Mhm.
But
Well, that fosters the community that you see
yeah,
there right now,
it is, and it's I,
which is good land planning and placemaking because you didn't obstruct that ability to say hi and talk for 5
no,
minutes.
I wanted it.
Yeah, that's good. That
You
was
know,
smart.
and it's so there are so many people that use our walking trails and that boardwalk. I think they come home, and when they drive through our entrance is beautiful. When they drive through the entrance, I know the weight
Mhm.
of their jobs, or I don't want to say the weight of the world, but whatever's bothered them that day, I just think it falls off, and they can put on some tennis shoes, and there's always a breeze coming off the bay, and
It's like a
it,
refuge.
it, it it's nice,
Yeah,
and
it's really nice.
yeah. And
Um, when do you think? Oh, if you could just share with everybody what you shared with me earlier too, a recent statistic on what's going on in Walton County's real estate market, looking at data about the most popular places that people are visiting, um, which is a big yay! Congratulations for you if you can share that.
Yeah, I was in South Walton County. We have more looks on than anybody else on the bay, and in all of South Walton County, there's only one other community ahead of us.
Hmm.
So I think that's pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Thanks to people like you and
yeah.
Madra, and we now Scenic Sotheby's, Daler and Company
Yeah.
does our real estate
Brad Taylor,
today,
yes.
and Brad, yeah,
Mhm.
Brad's a good friend, and
Yeah. And Brad lives there too.
he lives there. He's got 2 beautiful little girls.
Mhm.
That
Did you see? You read the article on him in the magazine?
Yes,
Yes, it was. I think it did him well. It did him proud. Did you proud too? You know?
it did.
Yeah.
It did. James and Miller are his 2 little girls, and
Mhm. They are
they're
sweet.
just fun to have around our
Yeah,
neighborhood.
they are. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. And you have the playground there, and then the
Have a
pool.
playground,
Yeah.
and we have the clubhouse with the pool, and
Mhm.
we
Do you,
just renovated it,
oh
and
yes, it looks beautiful.
yeah, I think it turned out great.
It
Marisol
Marisol
Gullo, and
Gulo
then
did that.
Tim O'Hare.
Yeah.
They
The
both
built.
live there.
Yeah.
Tim's a contractor, Marisol's an interior
Yeah.
designer, and they donated their time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Because they
know,
believe in it. Because Marisol lives there too.
yes,
Yeah, which is, all part of this, conversation that you can't make up. This is not like marketing spin or anything. It's real life of what's going on there. And it's really commendable and to your credit and the beauty of the place. Do you want to talk about phase two?
yeah, we just there's not, I don't want to say turmoil. There's a little bit of turnover right now in our planning department in Walton County,
Hmm.
and so we just got conditional approval, and for phase two, for our development order,
Hmm.
and the only thing left is some internal paperwork that the county's got to do now, and I think they just did the last piece on that this week.
Oh, so it's
So
on its way.
so we should have a signed development order within the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
I would hope.
Hmm.
You would think so. And once we do, we're going to start. We're going to get our infrastructure going, and
How many lots?
it's going to be 15 lots.
Okay.
And once again, just like right now, we're about in phase one. We're about 45% of our area remain green space.
Hmm.
So in phase two, it'll be about the same. About 45 will remain green space. And with that, we're putting in sport courts. We're going to put in a couple of pickleball courts and a basketball court. There's quite a few teenagers in our neighborhood that participate in local South Walton basketball, and so we're going to do that, and we're going to put in another smaller pool and clubhouse for more of an adult type deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to add a couple of villas
Mm-hmm.
that for overflow, and we want to make them as nice as we can. We're going to spend some money.
And that's for rentals in case you have extra
Yeah,
people,
there'll
company.
be rentals.
Mm-hmm.
If all these businesses, everybody, if they have somebody coming in from out of town,
Mm-hmm.
they can,
Put them-
you know, to go through the HOA,
Right,
but
right.
they can rent them out, and we'll put them up there, and we're gonna do those really really nice. So
Nice. Can't wait. That well, congratulations. That has been a process, right? Another
was,
process.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot easier this time than the first time.
Yeah,
though.
good. Well, you knew how to go through those ropes again, right?
Yeah,
That's good. And that's very, very exciting. Well, I look forward to, I've seen, the plans, the master plan for phase 2, and it looks like another winner. And I know the marketplace is just dying for more pickleball courts. I mean, you can sell property just on the fact that you have that because it's the craze of the century.
yeah.
Do you
Well,
play pickleball?
yeah, I do.
You do. You like
Yes,
it.
yes,
Everybody likes it. Who
yeah,
plays pickleball. That's
yes.
great.
One of we have some new home buyers that
Mm-hmm.
are supposed to close Tuesday, next Tuesday, and
Awesome.
saw them at the 4th of July party,
Oh,
and
good. Oh,
was
that will
talking to
sell.
them.
That would seal the deal,
Well,
right?
they were asking, "Hey, can as a developer, phase 2, the pickleball courts, is that really going to happen?" I said, "Yeah, it's really going to happen."
Yeah.
And they were
It's really
like,
going to happen because you want to play pickleball.
Well, they want to play too."
Okay.
So I said, "Yeah, it's going to happen." So we'll get the infrastructure, we'll get the roads put in. As soon as we get the roads put in, we'll start on the courts.
Mm,
So I don't know if by the end of the year, but
okay.
sometime around then,
Yeah.
we ought to be playing pickleball in
All
Churchill
right.
Oaks.
All right. Get a team, some teams and get a
Yeah,
whole
and
rivalry going in the community.
we'll add about another mile and a half of walking trail.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, I think we're gonna, we're gonna be like the tide. We're gonna raise the tide in Churchill Oaks with phase 2. It's gonna be really really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll lift the whole community.
yeah. Well, it's already picture perfect at the moment, so that's pretty great. Continuing to elevate is always something that I ascribe to. You don't want to do the same. You want if you've reached a benchmark, when you do something new, you should have it elevated from what you already did.
Yeah, complacency is a bad word.
Bad word. Yeah. No. Well, thank you for being a partner with V, for us getting to work with you. Our team completely loves Churchill Oaks and working with you and Wendy, and have a heart and a passion for the success of Churchill Oaks, as do you. And it's genuine because we love your community that you created. And I think it's amazing, your story. And you stayed the course. I think it's great.
Well, thank you so much for what you've done. Thank your team. They've been
Yeah,
great in
they're great.
everything they've done.
They are great.
They're so kind. I pulled up earlier, and the parking is so tight. And Jordan, I called. She's been texting. I
Yeah.
said, I can't find a spot. And she said, "Oh, I'm going to run out and move my car." And
Oh, I know.
that's
Thanks, George.
that's not very gentlemanlike to but she moved her car, and so thanks for that. But that's what your team does,
Yeah,
And
they are
thank you
fantastic.
again. I can't thank you enough. And
Well, you're welcome. Yeah,
and you surround yourself with competence. That's what I've always learned in business, and then you let them do their job.
exactly.
So
True that.
yeah, man, I've surrounded myself by some good people in this community.
You have. Well, kudos to your success currently, and then to where you're going, and everything that you brought to the community. Making beautiful places and spaces is very important because so many people do not do that. They do cookie cutter stuff. They're trying to just get the quick return on their investment, and they're not building and creating something of substance and longevity. So when I find people that do that, um, it deserves a hearty thank you because so few people actually will do that. And it's very important and meaningful. And you've done great for us all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
All right. Well, we're going to, continue talking about Churchill Oaks because we love it so much. And as I said, Roy and Wendy Sembera, fantastic people. And he really towed the line and walks the walk and made a beautiful place in Churchill Oaks. Check it out. I hope you have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.